So North Korea has warned that it will shoot for a second launch of what is presumed to be the first spy satellite as early as August 24th. That's tomorrow. For more on the North's latest launch-related moves, we are joined by Mr. Jacco Zwetsloot this morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Sure, Jacco. So the North may go for the second attempt for its first spy satellite as early as tomorrow or as late as next Thursday. Now, the question is, why this specific period?
Now, believe it or not, but I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm just the host of the NK News podcast. But I was, by doing some reading, I was unable to find any physical or technical reasons why it would choose this period over another. I think that there are potentially a couple of factors to be taken into consideration. And the most important one is that the launch in May was a failure and that the satellite that fell into the sea is now in the hands of the South Korean government. North Korea wants a military reconnaissance satellite in orbit, and once it has sorted out the technical problems that led the first launch to fail, it is ready to launch again to try to get one up there. From North Korea's perspective, since it doesn't yet have a dedicated military reconnaissance satellite, the sooner it succeeds, the better. And that's probably why it's choosing now. Another factor would be weather and meteorological conditions.
Right. The North Korea, they want a military satellite because it is, if it goes successfully, it will be their first ever version of that missile satellite. Now, can we see the move as an apparent protest against South Korea-U.S. joint militaries that have been going on, or the Camp David Trilateral Summit, or is the North trying to commemorate some kind of major events or anniversaries?
Not necessarily. Certainly, North Korea is disturbed about the combined South Korea-U.S. drills called the Ulchi Freedom Shield that started this week, as well as the optics of the three leaders of Japan, South Korea, and the United States becoming closer and talking about joint security issues at Camp David. But we have to look at the satellite launch as separate from that, because this was going to happen anyway, regardless of drills or summits. North Korea, when it is angry and wants to signal a protest, usually launches missiles, and it does so without warning. This is different because North Korea actually did notify Japan of its intentions to launch a satellite into space, and that's probably because North Korea wants to be seen publicly as a responsible and peaceful user of space. In terms of special days in North Korea, coming up this Friday, the 25th, that is Songun Day, or the Day of Songun, which commemorates the 25th of August 1960, the day that the late Kim Jong-il apparently made an inspection of the Seoul Ryugyong-su Guards 105th Tank Division with his father Kim Il-sung and gave a speech about the military needing to come first. And that is what Songun means, military first. So if the launch is actually on Friday, August the 21st, then we will be able to say in hindsight that it is a significant day, a Songun Day launch, but not before then, because launches can always be affected or delayed by things like weather forecasts.
Right, the launch plan has been on the North to-do list since its first failure back in May.
Yes, they did have some engine problems in May. At the time, North Korea's National Aerospace Development Administration, or NADA, reported that there was, quote, abnormal ignition of the second stage engine, and the new engine system reliability and stability failed, and the fuel used was unstable. Now, according to George William Herbert, who's an adjunct professor at the Center for Non-Proliferation Studies and a missile consultant, this rocket used in May was believed to be fitted with a liquid fuel engine. We know that North Korea has tried some solid fuel missile engines recently, and South Korea's National Intelligence Service reported last week to the National Assembly's Intelligence Committee that it had detected heavy activities at a North Korean facility that produces solid fuel missiles, and also at a site that is related to liquid fueled missiles. North Korea has 4 types of intercontinental ballistic missiles, 3 of which use liquid fuels, and the last one that uses solid fuel. So it remains to be seen exactly what type of rocket it will use to get, this time, to get its satellite into orbit. Now, are they ready? Kim Jong-un and his scientists seem to believe that they are ready. Mr. Kim is a harsh taskmaster, and I'm sure his scientists do not want to disappoint him, and that can add pressure and skew incentives. So let's wait and see if they're actually correct this time.
Yeah, I can imagine how heavy that burden is on those scientists. Now, Jacco, if the second attempt is once again unsuccessful, let's say, do you think the North Korea will go for a third attempt, fourth, fifth, and maybe even the 10th? Who knows? And if they do stop, when will they ever stop?
Yeah, now I cannot claim any special insight into Kim Jong-un's mind, but last year, during a visit to the Satellite Control Center of the National Aerospace Development Administration, Kim Jong-un said, "It is the strategic and tactical policy of the party to strictly watch and distinguish the hostile military actions against the DPRK committed by the U.S. imperialist aggression army and its followers in and around the Korean Peninsula." So I believe that North Korea has shown the world again and again that it will spare no resources to get the technology that it wants to make itself feel safe. Because the most common type of satellites orbit around the Earth rather than stay in one place, one satellite will not be enough. So North Korea will want more. So building a network of reconnaissance satellites is a goal of North Korea's security strategy. I don't see any reason why North Korea will stop. You mentioned earlier that the United States State Department called on North Korea to stop its plans. South Korea's foreign ministry yesterday released a statement regretting North Korea's plan to launch a satellite and calling on Pyongyang to cancel it. And the Unification Ministry called it an illegal act. Now, I don't think that the South Korean government believes that North Korea will listen to these statements, and I don't expect it will change the launch plans at all. But I think these are things that governments must say in this situation.
Right. Now, it sounds like the whole spy satellite launch plan is a long-term plan that's just not going to last for a couple of months.
That's right. I think it's going to go on for quite a while there.
All right. Jacco, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have a good day.
Thank you for having me.